Okay, so yo, what's up? This is me. I'm back, and it's been a while. And what I'm gonna do is, with this video, I really just want to, I don't know, just really just to think. I like to think. I like to analyze. I like to go through different scenarios and stuff like that in my head to come up with logical and a different point of view, or understand different point of views that other people come from. I'm gonna start with a simple little test, and then I'm going to lead you into the purpose of this test. It's really not a test, it's really just an experiment for people to go through. And I wanted to see what happens if you take a word and you build upon the synonym from that one original word and how far it goes. So what it was I went into Microsoft Word and I just typed in the word amazing. And I clicked on synonyms, and one of the synonyms was astonishing. I continued to do this process to see what actually happens, and I stopped after so many synonyms were, used, and then went from the next synonym. So from amazing, I got astonishing. From astonishing, I got bewildering. From bewildering, I got shocking. Next synonym from shocking, I got scandalous. Next synonym from scandalous, I got disgraceful. Next synonym from disgraceful, I got reprehensive. From reprehensive, I got condemnatory. From condemnatory, I got disapproving. From disapproving, I got negative. From negative, I got undesirable. And that's where I stopped. I could have kept going. When you think about it, who in their right mind would associate amazing with undesirable? Maybe amazingly undesirable. But really, when you think of amazing, you don't think of undesirable. Now, this little example was really just to start off the conversation. And the conversation is translations, pretty much. And one of the first things I say when anyone ever quotes a quote from the Bible, I say, which translation are you using? And why is that? Because the Bible is translated into over 518 different languages. And with the English language alone, it has over 500 different English translations. So that's already over 1,000 translations with just the English. So if we have 500 in our English language, how many do the French have? How many do the German have? And so on and so forth. After a little research, and this I knew a long time ago, but I just want to give documentation. It says there is no single Bible. Many Bibles exist with varying contents. The term Bible is shared between the Jews and the Christianity. Although the contents of each of their collections of canonical texts is not the same. Different religious groups include different books within their canon in different orders, sometimes divide or combine books or incorporate information into their canonical books. In my head, when I think of God, I think of perfection. Whatever he decides to provide, he knows what he's doing. Why would anything need to be added? Why would anything need to be taken away? So when I was thinking about that, I went into researching and I was checking into stuff, and the fact that no original manuscript of any biblical book has survived. All the texts written by the biblical authors themselves have been lost or destroyed over the centuries. All we have are copies of copies of copies, most of them copied hundreds of years after the original text was written. So the original text is no longer available. Basically what we have is a translation of a translation of a translation, and translation in general is just an interpretation. So we have different people's interpretation. If you're translating from a translation or interpreting from an interpretation, aka creating a synonym of something that you read so that it can be understood by others, and that synonym is being read by someone and they feel they have a better wording for it, and it's translated and translated and translated. It takes me back to what I said originally. If I had the original word amazing in front of me and I translate it to astonishing, and the next person come along and translates my astonishing into bewildering, and the next person comes along and translates bewildering into shocking, and so on and so forth, you end up with negative and undesirable. Now somebody is reading this translation of my original text, they're taking it as saying something was undesirable. And is that not a totally different meaning from what I originally started off with? So this, my people, is my personal reason why. Unless it agrees with what's in the book that I follow, unless it agrees with that text, I don't believe it, nor do I trust it. The overall content, the stories, the reasoning behind it, the basic messages, I truly understand and try to live my life by, but it has to agree with the text that I personally read myself on a daily basis. Again, as I started this off, I was just saying common sense, just connecting the dots and trying to understand and figure this out, which is why I can't in my right mind accept any translation of any of today's Bibles as definitive documentation of what happened at that particular time period. When people try to bring up information in the Bible, I always ask, which version are you using? Again, the overall messages are great messages and things that we should live by. I will not take that as definitive information that was actually passed from the earlier generation Christian. So that's pretty much my video, and it was just something to make you think and not to make anyone switch or change or doubt anything that they believe, because if you're a strong believer, this won't affect you not one bit. Also, if you are a strong believer, then this would open up a dialogue between me and you, and also will make you say, I never thought of it that way. Now I can see where you're coming from. I still don't go that route, but now I can see where you're coming from. And that's what it's all about in the end, following the similarities that we have. And if you know me and you follow my post and you follow me on different places, we have a lot of similarities. You wonder why I say some other things. You can get an understanding of why I say these other things by really just trying to get to know me. And I think that's all I wanted to say. It looks like Joey's down there wanting to have some playtime. Well, maybe he doesn't want to come up. Yeah, he's acting funny. But anyway. So you're not going to say hey?
This worldly life has an end, and it's then real life begins. A world where we will live forever. This beautiful worldly life has an end. It's just a bridge that must be crossed to a life that will go on forever. So many years quickly slipping by, like the sleepers of the cave. Wake up and make a choice before we end up in our graves. You didn't put me here in vain. I know I'll be held accountable for what I do. This life is just a journey.